Hello, my name is Ben with Transmission Hard Parts, and I'm here today to show you how to install a shift kit and rebuild the valve body on a 4R55 and 5R55E automatic transmission. We have these on our website already shift kitted with new solenoids or used. They're all dyno tested on a transmission valve body dyno to ensure all the hydraulic circuits work properly. You can find these at transmissionhardparts.net. So to start, you're going to go ahead and take off the solenoids. To do this, there's two solenoid retaining brackets. You're going to remove both of them with 10mm bolts. I like to lay out some rags to soak up the oil mess. Just go ahead and pull these off and lay them to the side. Take a pick or a flathead screwdriver and gently pry out the solenoids. All the way on my left here is the TCC solenoid, or the torque converter lockup solenoid. Next we have some shift solenoids. Sometimes they're kind of sticky. And on the end we have the EPC solenoid, or the pressure control solenoid. All of our valve bodies come with new Borg-Warner EPC solenoids. Two more shift solenoids on the other side. So now you're going to flip the valve body over, and be careful, there are valves inside some of the solenoid bores. Now there's going to be 3 T40 Torx bits holding on the separator plate. And when you take off the separator plate, there's going to be some check balls and keepers and valves in there. So be sure not to tip the valve body when you're doing this. Lift off the separator plate. So right here, you're going to have two valves. One right here with the metal top, and then one right here with the plastic top. Set those aside. You're going to want to get a pick. And there's a screen right here. This is your EPC screen. And then you're going to have 4 check balls. You're going to want to remove them. Careful not to drop them. Set them aside. Next, there's a handful of these keepers. They're little... Here, I'll show you. They look like that. There's 5 or 6 of them. Throughout the valve body, you're just going to want to take a pick and peel those out of there and set them aside. And I will show you where to put these. A lot of people get intimidated by valve body work, but if you take your time, there shouldn't be any problem. Also, when you're doing this, try not to scuff up the worm tracks. That aluminum needs to be flat to seal. This one's fighting me. And these are under spring tension too, because the valve's applying on them and these are stopping it. So sometimes they're pressed in there. Okay, so I'm installing a Superior shift kit, part number K4R/5R55E. It's a pretty good shift kit. I like it better than the Transgo. It addresses a lot of the common failure points in this transmission, as well as a couple of steel valves it replaces. We're only going to take out the valves that are commonly worn on this valve body. The rest have almost no issues. So we're going to start by replacing the pressure regulator spring. And in the shift kit, it also comes with the directions. It says step 1 is to replace the outer pressure regulator spring with the green spring supplied. So here I have the green spring, and the pressure regulator bore is the middle valve on this side. When you have the valve body orientated this way, it's the middle valve, not the manual valve all the way at the end, but the middle valve that's loaded in there. There's just a little keeper here. As you can see, you just go on the outside there and slide it up. And when you do that, put your finger in front of the valve because it is under spring tension. Make sure it doesn't pop out. And you're going to lay these out just how you got them. There's an inner spring in here as well. I like to have these a little long pair of needle nose. You just get them at Harbor Freight. They're like $2. They work really well. Here's the inner spring. And the outer spring. When you're doing this, you just want to look and inspect any of the valves for premature wear. Normally they're pretty good. You'll know right away if they're screwed up. Just set the old spring aside. Drop in the new spring. Oh, here, there's also this little seat for the outer spring to ride. You want to make sure that that sits in there flat. If it's cockeyed, you won't be able to get the valve in right. Sometimes these things will fight you. There we go. Once you get that set in there, you're going to set in your outer spring, and then set in your inner spring around the valve. After you do that, just slide in the pressure regulator valve. Push it in and slide in the keeper. Just take a screwdriver and push it in all the way. Okay, in step 2, replace the spring on the forward engagement control valve with the white spring supplied. So that spring is going to be, or that valve is going to be the one all the way on the end, on this side, if you have the valve body orientated this way. On this one, there's these little keepers in here, little lock rings, if you will, that hold the valve in. Just get a small pick and peel them out. They look like that. Set it aside, how you take it out, followed by this little plug. This is the spring you're replacing. You just want to make sure that it strokes okay in there. And this valve, most of the time, will not pull all the way out. So as long as it floats freely in there, and you should be fine. You can actually look at it through the top at all the landings and journals and inspect them for wear. And you'll see if there's they should be brown in color or the phenolic looking, and if there's any wear patterns or discoloration, then that should be a red flag. Take the white spring in the kit, place it in there, place it in your plug, and hold it in with your retainer. Okay, step 3, for regular duty applications, replace the OE forward modulator valve and spring with the modulator valve and plain spring supplied. For heavy duty, follow the regular duty steps plus install the OE modulator spring that was just removed onto the back side of the modulator valve at the location shown. So for this valve body, we're just going to do regular duty application. It works fine. Basically the valve's just under a little less spring tension because you're just replacing the OE spring with the updated spring. And for the heavy duty applications, you replace the OE spring with the updated spring and then put the OE spring behind it as well, but we're not going to do that. Oh, and this valve is the valve all the way on the end. Not the manual valve bore, but you'll be able to notice that. That's the valve that you can reach out here and move. But the valve right next to that, out of these 3 valves that you cannot move, it's the one all the way on the end when the valve body is orientated this way. It has another little keeper or lock ring, just like the one before. So on this one, I like to grab this style pick. Works very well. It comes out at a 90 degree or more of a 45, and that has a little kick. You can actually stick that down there and maneuver the valve out. It works much better than a straight pick. Once you get it out, you can take your set of pliers. Twist out the end plug. Now you're just going to try to fish out this valve here. There we go. So here's the OE valve with the OE spring. Both of these are replaced in the kit with the new steel valve instead of the phenolic cheap valve. And then it also comes with the updated spring as well. Just set those aside. You're going to take the plain spring supplied in the kit, not the one that's not colored, and insert it in the small end of the valve. So on this, you're just going to make sure that everything sits in there nice. Once you get it in there, go ahead and put it in the end plug. Make sure you just put it in straight, because if you get a cockeyed, it won't want to go in. Thing's kind of fighting me here. So you take this clip, place it back in. Now we're on to step 4, is to replace the coast clutch valve retaining plug with the plug supplied. And this valve is located over here. This valve does not like to come out. It's one where when you take out the shift solenoid, I believe, or no, this one is, yeah, this is one of the shift solenoids. Here, I'll show you. It's this valve right here. It does not like to come out. They say, I'll read it to you in a second, but they say in the Superior shift kit directions that sometimes it doesn't come out. So if you can't get it out, then, which I usually can't, then what you're going to do is you're just going to clean it really thoroughly. Oh, this valve just came out from this bore right here. One of the shift solenoids goes here. Okay. So I'm going to take a pair of pliers. There's a little nipple on this valve you can grab and see if it'll come out. Yeah, so what I like to do is I like to just push on it, make sure the ply is good. Maybe. I like to just take a little bit of WD-40 here, lube up the valve train, running out here, and keep stroking it and make sure everything feels good. So anyway, yeah, so this valve is very hard to get out. Most of the time I can't get out. Superior, the kit just comes with this little valve. See if I can't find it. Not looking like I can find it, but it's just a little tiny metal valve. And anyway, so we're gonna skip that step. If you can't get it out, just make sure you clean it thoroughly. I like to use WD-40 or any valve assembly liquid. Lube Guard makes some good stuff. But then we're going to go to number 5, which is to install the thermal blocker as shown in the illustration between the thermal bypass valve. This will allow cooler flow as soon as the motor is started. Note, if the valve train will not fully fit back into the bore with the thermal blocker, it may be necessary to file or grind a small amount off the larger diameter end of the blocker. So the thermal blocker they're talking about is this little valve supplied in the kit. Basically, like they said, it makes it so as soon as you turn the vehicle on, it allows cooler flow to flow to your transmission immediately. Doesn't wait for it to heat up. I'm just going to take out this valve. So there's a little retainer here. It's this valve. When it's orientated like it's been this whole time, it's a valve right here. You're going to go ahead and take out this keeper. There's a spring under there, so be sure to hold it. So you're going to lay out the spring. And here's that thermometer they were talking about. And then this valve right here. The larger end goes over the thermometer. The smaller end has a spring that sits in there. And then there's a spring underneath there that sits in the back side of this valve like I was just showing you. Once you do that, you're just gonna go ahead and clean this out. Then you just take this spring, insert it in the small end of this valve. This is kind of tricky. You just gotta kind of fish it in there. Sometimes the pliers help you lift it up. Then you take the thermal blocker, place it, the small end first, into the back side of that valve. And you're going to push it in. Then you take the thermometer, place the smaller end inside the thermal blocker I just showed you. You're going to push that until it seats in. Once you've done that, I like to take a screwdriver and put the spring on the end and then push down on the tip of that thermometer. Take and hold that spring. Then you're going to take the keeper and push it in. Let's see if I can't show you this. So you're going to push it in. Hopefully you guys can see that. Push down the spring, the edge of the spring. Damn. Don't worry about the other side, just push down the side where you're trying to start this clip in there. Once you get it started, once you get it started in there like so, then you can push down the other side. Push it in the rest of the way. There you go. Okay, now you got the thermal blocker installed. That was step 5. On the other side of the instruction sheet, next all we got to do is drill a couple holes in the separator plate. Let me peel the gasket off here. Okay. Have you clean this off a little bit. So now, with the hole on the upper left hand side, my upper left, you're going to drill 2 holes. The kit comes with 2 drill bits. First you're going to do the smaller of the 2 drill bits. And you're going to put it in this little hole. See if I can't point it to you. This little hole, see this little shape here? It's this little hole right there. You're just going to drill that out a little bit with the smaller of the 2 drill bits supplied in the kit. Try not to get any aluminum or steel shavings on your stuff. Make sure the plate has no burrs on it. Then you're going to take the larger of the 2 drill bits supplied in the kit. And you're going to drill another hole. This one is where these 2 holes, there's the hole and then the little shape here, the kidney shape. It's that little hole right there. And this is the bigger drill bit in the kit. And these drill bits do break, so you got to be kind of gentle with them. So now, that's all you do as far as the shift kit. There are other items in the shift kit. This particular one comes with Superior's pressure riser. Let's see if I can get this out and show you. You clip this onto the wiring harness next to the EPC solenoid on the outside. Splice it in and it boosts your line pressure. It comes with some accumulator springs for the side servos. It comes with a double-sided lip seal for the side servos and updated springs for the overdrive drum. So basically now all we got left, here's that valve I took out. This goes right here if you're looking at it. One of the shift solenoids sits in here and holds it in. Oh, maybe not right there. I'm sorry. On this side, on the very corner. There should only be 2 valves when you take off the solenoids that'll fall out. This one in the corner, and then this one right here. So now we're gonna start reassembling this. You take the 2 valves. And let me show you, I got a cheat sheet here. So the valve with the metal piece on it, the metal valve, this also has the smaller of the two springs. These springs are slightly different. The one with the metal valve has the smaller spring, if you get it mixed up. That one's going to go right over here on my right side, and then the plastic one's going to go on the left. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, there's this little orange hockey puck. It goes in this little hole right here. So now, you get your 4 check balls. They're going to go in these locations. Let me show you. One's going to go down here. The other one's going to go right here. One's going to go up here. And then one's going to go right here. It looks like this spot on the end should have a check ball, but there's not one there. It kind of looks like one might go there, but it does not. The only check balls you're going to put in here are one right here, 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 and here. Now you need to reinstall this EPC screen. I see them sometimes where they're torn a little bit on the edge. I know it doesn't do a very good job screening it, but the overall kit might come with this, but this Superior shift kit does not. But most of the time, it's fine. Just reinstall that where it goes. That's right in here. Now you have these keepers. Six keepers. So on these are a little bit tricky because you have to apply the valves sometimes to get them to set in there because they are under spring tension, like I mentioned earlier in the video. The first one is going to go right here, and that's right there. You just gotta stick your pick down there and push the valve. And get it to sit in there. And this one, the tip faces, hopefully you can see it, it's gonna face this way, the little L. So now, you're gonna have another one, let me get my thing right. You have another one right here. And if you look down here, there are 2 holes, one here and one here right next to each other. I believe, here I got a cheater valve body here. It's going to go in this hole right here, the one closest to me. So you're going to go ahead and set this in there. That one you don't have to apply. That's just a stopper for when the valve does apply. So there's another one that goes right here. And this one faces, the L is going to go ahead and face this way. You got to reach in there and apply that valve. Once you do, it'll drop in. So next there's going to be another one down here in this little spot, and the L is going to face forward this way. It's going to set that in there and push. This one you can push in the back. This is that valve that is pretty hard to get out. Once you push that in, it'll drop down. Then there's another one that goes right here. This L is going to face left, or my left, so this way. Set that in there. Gonna go ahead and reach in there and apply this thing. Maybe you just gotta find how it applies. Okay, so you're gonna stick your pick in there and push the valve towards me to get it to drop in. And there's one last one up at the top that goes right here. This one, you're just going to set in there, and it does look like it's going to fall forward like it's not in there, but it does that normally, don't worry. Once you have those in, this is where you take your new gasket. I don't have one here with me right now, but all our valve bodies do come with new gaskets. You just set your gasket on, make sure the valves and your hockey puck sticks up, as well as all the check balls. Then you line up your separator plate. You can go ahead and start your T40 Torx bits. And if you're wondering, hopefully you can see, I'll tip it up and show you here where they go. And again, we offer these already done, and they all come, every one of our dyno tested valve bodies come with a lifetime warranty. You can find them at transmissionhardparts.net. We have every single hard part, all soft parts. A lot of them aren't listed yet, but you can find them if you need them. Anything you don't see, you can send us an email and we'll respond within 12 hours. There you go. Once you get them tightened down, you can see the 3 Torx bits are right here, here, and here. Just gonna flip that back over. Make sure your valves are still in here. You're gonna have one valve right here in this bore where this shift solenoid goes, and then one right here where the TCC solenoid goes. So all of our solenoids are tested. We actually vacuum test these solenoids and then test them on our solenoid dyno. I'll make another video showing how to do that. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to reinstall them. It's fairly simple. You slide it in, your TCC solenoid. The shift solenoids, this O-ring on here, they are pretty tight. Sometimes you have to snap them in. Yep. 2 shift solenoids. And all the shift solenoids are identical, so that does not matter. However, you must put the TCC solenoid on this end and the EPC solenoid on this side. Just line it up. And 2 shift solenoids on the other side. So now when you put on this solenoid bracket, there's this valve plug that sticks out right here. You're going to go ahead and slide this hook on one end. Slide the hook over. That's what holds it on this side. Make sure all of them are turned so they're sticking up. You're just going to try to snap that down in there. And then start your 10mm bolt. And take your other bracket and this one, line up, make sure the solenoids are in all the way, otherwise it'll fight you. And there's one bolt that goes in the middle right here. And that's it. This will cause, if any part of this is wrong, you could have open solenoid circuit codes, torque converter lockup codes, lots of problems. Whenever there's a shifting problem with your transmission, 90% of the time it's either a valve body problem or an electrical problem, as far as a wiring harness inside the transmission or a solenoid usually. If you do replace all the solenoids and you still have an open solenoid circuit code, then oftentimes the wire harnesses, here I got one right here, the wire harnesses on these, they do go bad quite often. All of our wire harnesses are tested on a smart switch with the VBT 4000. All of our valve bodies come with a lifetime warranty, like I mentioned earlier. They're all tested, dyno tested. They start for just the use tested valve body is $199. Again, at transmissionhardparts.net you can find it. It comes with the new Borg-Warner EPC, a pressure control solenoid. All the other stuff's tested. We have it with the shift kit installed if you don't want to do it yourself. But I hope this video was helpful. I hope it kind of held your hand some people who are trying to install a shift kit themselves. So please remember to like and subscribe. You can also like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And again, my name is Ben with Transmission Hard Parts. Have a good day.